I think marriage as a whole is like a very challenging thing. So it's hard to get married nowadays anyway, just the way the world is and stuff. So may Allah make it easy for you and put barakah in it, and inshallah give you something great. What I would say is that I would always advise people that when it comes to marriage, try and do the best thing in the best way that makes Allah happy, right? Because marriage is one of those things where you could get married in a very terrible way, you could get married in a great way, and all this kind of stuff, right? Now, I don't really know your past. I don't want to even go into it or anything like that. But of course, there are situations, I'm not saying this for you, but there are situations, for example, if a woman is divorced, she would not need a wali, for example, right? But if a woman has never been married before, then, you know, like going to the wali is something that I would advise brothers. Like if a brother came to me and said, look, I'm interested in this sister, I'll be like, look, bro, make sure you do things properly, yeah? Don't approach the sister directly. Don't do this, don't do that. Like actually go and like do this properly. Do this in a way that, you know, you can tell your children and you'll be proud of, inshallah, and Allah will be proud of the way that you do it, and all of this kind of stuff, right? I'm not saying about the accompanying. I'm saying more to do with, you know, contacting the wali and having that discussion with the wali, right? Again, like I say, if it's relevant for you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, for example, you know, the Prophet ﷺ, he said in a hadith, there is no nikah except with a wali, right? Meaning that when a woman gets married, Islamically, she needs to have like her brother or father or someone who is basically the person that the man kind of proposes to, and then the nikah happens with the permission of the wali and stuff. Does that make sense? Yeah. So like a father or a brother or relative or grandparent or someone, if they're not around. Like I'll give you an example. Yeah. Like I don't normally discuss this, but I'll discuss it with you because of the benefit for you, inshallah, in this situation, right? So like when I met my wife, right, when I inquired about her through another sister and stuff, I was told that her father is not in this country. So I was in England. My wife's father was not in England, right? So then basically I was told by the sister who was in the middle that her father is not here. And, you know, I always said to myself that, you know what, like I want to meet a sister with the permission of her father. Like that was the thing in my mind. So what I did is said, I want to contact her father, even though he's not in this country, and ask, can I meet your daughter to do this? Do you understand? Right? So that the father is fully aware, this is what I'm trying to do. Da, 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 da. And then she came back and she said, look, her father does not speak English, right? So it's like barrier upon barrier. And I was like, that's fine. So then I don't know if I got my friend who was Steve, who was like French, to write something. I can't remember what I did, but I contacted the father and I said, listen, like, I don't know you, you don't know me, I don't know your daughter, but I'm interested in marrying her. I want your permission to meet her, and I want you to know that I'm interested. I don't know if anything will come from it, all that stuff. This is what I want, right? And then alhamdulillah, he wrote back to me, he's like, I really respect that you came to me directly, da, da, da. Of course you can meet her and everything, right? And then I went with, like you did, like with a brother and sister, and I went and met her and all that kind of stuff, right? So what I'm saying is that me personally, I would advise brothers exactly what I did there, that go and speak to the wali no matter what, right? And get involved like that, because that's how I believe like you should actually like go and engage with that person. Now your situation might be totally different, and that's what I'm saying about someone who's been through a marriage already. They don't need to actually get a wali involved or anything like that, or any of that stuff. So all I'm saying is just do it in the best way. And you might need to go to a scholar, you might need to go to someone you trust Islamically to find out what is the best way generally. So that's like that element of it. Then when it comes to kind of going to do the meeting and all this kind of stuff, again, I would advise, for example, sisters, some of the stuff I would advise sisters, like I would advise that you don't wear makeup, okay? Now, I don't want to get into this with, are you going to wear it or not? I'm just giving you general advice, because you said generally, is it different for the sisters, right? So I would say to the sisters that don't engage unless the brother's gone to your wali. Like that's general advice I would give to sisters and my daughter and my own sister and everything, right? And then in addition, I would give them the advice, don't wear makeup. So for example, like one of the things, like when I got married, I met my wife, you know, she never wore makeup. And later on, I was like, you know, we discussed things, we were married and stuff. And I was like, you didn't wear makeup. And she's like, yeah, because every single day, you're actually going to wake up with my face without makeup, right? So why would I wear makeup to meet you and all this kind of stuff? So like what I'm saying is that the most important I think that needs to happen is that you need to go to the meeting authentically, okay? Like you need to go there as yourself, and you need to engage with that person and try have a connection with that person, right? And you need to experience that connection, and you need to see what that is like. Fundamentally, like that's the advice that I would give you, that go there and try and connect authentically with the person and see what the experience is like. Like, don't put your, I know it's difficult, by the way, like when you found someone who potentially could be a match, like don't put all your heart and mind and everything into it, but just go there and try and experience that person, try and spend time with that person, try and have like a genuine connection. And of course, there's like tips, tricks, and techniques, like in terms of, like what question shall I ask and what should I talk about and all these kind of things, right? But I'm saying, like, if you can go there with authenticity and go there with like really being yourself and all of that stuff, like I believe that's a really good start towards having this communication, because naturally everyone feels nervous in this. Even if I've like met 5 sisters and I go to my sixth meeting, I'm gonna feel nervous. Like the sister, same thing. If she's like never done it before, if she's doing it, it's gonna be it's an awkward situation. It's something that's, you maybe makes you nervous and this and that and everything like that. But the main thing is to like really be yourself, engage with the other person, connect with them, care about them in that moment, talk to them, and just see how you feel, see how you think. And then of course, there's istikhara and getting advice from the brothers and sisters that are going with you and all this kind of stuff. Does that
Yeah,
make sense? Yeah, so I think all this advice that they're giving is good, because for me, like, look, if I'm meeting someone for the first time, right? Like it's quite weird. Like sometimes people, like when I meet them for the first time, like they're actually quite surprised because I'm very quiet. And I'll just be like listening to them and really intensely interested in them and really thinking about what they're saying and trying to engage and ask them questions and stuff, right? So I think what your advice they're giving is like, listen more and be interested and speak little. I think this is like generally it's a good advice, because if I'm really trying to get to know someone and engage with them and connect with them, a lot of that is more listening than speaking. All I'm
yeah,
saying is that when it comes down to it, just look at what would be pleasing to Allah and try and do those things, right? Because Allah is the one that's going to make your marriage happen. Allah is the one that's going to put barakah in it. Allah is the one that's going to make it a success. Allah is the one that's going to give you children. Allah is the one who's going to do everything, right? So, like, work on pleasing Him and doing the right things. As for the other person, the reason why I give you the example of makeup, because I just think that it's those kind of things. Like a lot of brothers, like they might go see a potential wife, right? And they're like, yeah, she's perfect. I'm like, I see a photo, right? And the brother's like, yeah, she's amazing. She did. They go to the house, and I've coached brothers on marriage and stuff, right? And they will go to the house, and she's nothing like the photo. Okay, so they're like what happened there, type of thing, right? And all of this stuff, and the same with makeup, all this kind of. So all I'm saying is that, look, you want this person to connect with you and to be with you, and to, like, if they get on with you in compatibility, the real you. You don't want a fake version of you. But at the same time, there is a best version of me and there is a worst version of me. Tomorrow, when I'm angry and when I'm hungry and when I'm tired, that's going to be the worst version of me, right? Maybe when I'm helping someone or giving for the sake of Allah, that's the best version of me, right? So which version am I going to show to someone? Obviously, there's a level of showing good akhlaq to people, showing the best face that you have and showing the best version of you. But in marriage discussions, I would say it's very important to also discuss what are the negative parts of your behavior. Like, it's funny because a lot of the time, like a lot of the advice that my wife kind of gave me about herself, she was very honest. Like when I look back at the stuff she said to me at the start, she was very honest. Like, this is how I'm, like, all the negative things about her, she was very clear, like, this is the things about me, right? And even now when I look back, I'm like, wow, like she actually was very open about it. And I think that's really good, because then you know what you can handle and what you can't handle, and you know like what the things are about you. So it doesn't mean that, like, for example, let's say that you're someone who gets angry. It doesn't mean, right, there's a potential partner, now I'm going to show him my anger so he knows what my anger is like. No, of course not. Of course we're not going to do none of that, right? Like, we don't want to do that. But we can express that, look, I get angry sometimes. Or you can say that I get tired very easily. Or like, actual really like showing what this person's about. But again, you don't need to lamp all of that on them all on the first meeting. And it's just about, like your sister said, like, take a real interest, and really speak to them, listen to them, and just experience the person, connect with the person.